Hello and welcome to the How to Install XAMPP on Windows. My name's Charles Severance and I'm your host for this brief video. This is sort of part of my SI 572 course at University of Michigan School of Information. So you're going to need a programming editor. You can use an interactive development environment such as Eclipse or Dreamweaver or half a dozen other things. I prefer to keep things simple. I use Notepad++. On Windows, I've got this already installed, so I'm not going to show you how to install it. You just go to notepadplus.org and download it and install it. So we're going to go to the XAMPP Apache Friends XAMPP site, and we're going to download XAMPP and then install it. Now this is a pretty big download, so I'm going to go grab XAMPP for Windows, and then I'm going to scroll down, and I am going to download XAMPP, and I'm just going to take the installer because life is simpler. Now at this point I might end up with some need to approve pop-ups. Let's see if it's happening. See, and notice the information bar. So I'm going to say yes, download the file, and here we go. Let's see if it's going to work this time. It's trying to protect me. So I always like saving these. I don't like saying run. So I'm going to save it to my desktop just so I see it when it appears. And I'll just say save. And so this is going to take a little while. Okay, so go get yourself a cup of coffee and come back when it's done downloading. So through the magic of television, we fast forwarded on the download. Make sure that when you're doing this on Vista or Windows 7 that you're doing this as the administrator. Install this as administrator. Some people wisely have two accounts, one where they're administrator and one where they're not an administrator. This is best installed as an administrator because it's going to write to a bunch of files. So our download has completed, and at this point I could either click on it on my desktop or I could run it from here, and so I will choose to run it from here. Let's minimize this window, and then I'm going to go ahead and run the downloaded installer. Yes, I do want to run it. I'm going to go with English, and it's telling us, all this is saying is it wants us to install this on the C:\/ rather than in program files. That happens to be the default. So we'll say next, and we'll take the default. This is what they want, and so you shouldn't override that. I never turn on this installing as a service because I want to be able to turn these things on and off from the control panel that you'll see in a bit. And so here we start the installation. This takes a while. Again, through the magic of television, we fast forwarded to it all being finished. And so we're going to go ahead and start the XAMPP control panel. And here we are. Now you'll notice it sort of lives in our system tray down here. And we can start Apache, which is the web server, and MySQL. So I'm going to click on Start, and these things are very fast, come up pretty much right away. In this case, it's the first time I've done this, so I'm going to have to unblock it. I'm going to have to let this application talk to port 80. That's what this is saying. So I unblock it. Now I'm going to start MySQL, and it's going to be the Apache's on unblock port 888 as well. And so Apache started on port 80 and MySQL started on port 3306. So once you have it running, you can press the admin button. Somehow the MySQL admin doesn't work, but you can get to everything you need by pressing this admin button. And so you go to localhost/XAMPP, and so here we have a menu of all the kinds of things that you're going to use. So let's do a couple of different things here. Welcome. Let's go to PHP info. This is an important thing that tells you a lot about what's installed in your PHP environment. This XAMPP has most of the good stuff that we need, and so that's really good. part of the reason we're using XAMPP is so that all this stuff is already there. And so PHP info is a good thing. Probably the thing you'll spend the most time is in this tool called PHP MyAdmin. And this is sort of your local connection to your MySQL database. And so this is a user interface that's showing that we have a series of databases in here. My font's a little zoomed in. It looks a lot better if you have a little larger screen. I'm keeping my screen size small. And so first thing I'll do is let's go ahead and create a database. I'm in the database. I'll create a database called Chuck. It's pretty much set right here. I'll create a database. I'll say create. And so if I go back home here, you'll see that among all the databases, I now have one called Chuck. And so that, you know, at some point you'll have new tables and databases, and this I'm just showing you this to get started. And so I'm going to go back to localhost here to get back to the XAMPP console. And so here we go. So let's show you how to write a real simple PHP program. And so I'm going to start Notepad, and I'm going to create a simple PHP file. I'll just start with an HTML file. Hello from Dr. Chuck's PHP file. I'll just start with HTML, and I'm going to do a file, save as, and I'm going to go into my computer. Usually don't want to be hanging out in your C drive, but I'm going into the XAMPP folder. Then I am going into htdocs, and so I have some folders in here. So I could put it right here. This is sort of all the stuff, but I want to keep this separate, so I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call my new folder SI572, and then I am in the SI572. If you sort of look at I'm in C, XAMPP, htdocs, SI572, so that's where I'm at. And I'm going to call this file index.php, and then I'm going to save it. And of course it sort of does some syntax highlighting because it now knows what's going on. Now I haven't written any PHP because PHP really is an extension of HTML. We'll just start with some flat HTML. And so I'm now going to navigate to http://localhost/SI572. That was the name of the folder I created. And here we go. And so it knows that the index.php is the default file to serve in the folder. We would get the same thing if we typed index.php with the entire file. It would say the same thing. So now let's make a change. And so now we'll actually add a paragraph, and then we'll switch into PHP with the less than question mark PHP, and then start writing some PHP. Hi there, \n. So we're going to put a hi there in a new line, and then we're going to switch back out of PHP and go back into HTML. And so you'll notice that Notepad nicely syntax colors for us. And so here we are. I'll resave that, and I'll come over here and I'll just hit refresh. And so now you see the H1. If I do a quick view source here, page source, you can see that these two lines are coming straight from the HTML, and then the echo, the print out of the PHP, is what's here. So it interpreted this part and ran the program that was PHP. So let's just make another little bit of PHP. I'll put a period here, and I will say some more PHP. Answer equals 6 times 7, and then I will say echo the answer is $answer. So we're doing some substitution here. Comma, what again was the question? Put a new line at the end of that and a semicolon. And then I'm going to save it. And then I will hit a refresh again. So we see that this 42 is the calculated number. Make them small so we can see them all at the same time. All right. Make it a little smaller. So hi there, the answer is 42. What again was the question? So you see that I've done a calculation. Variable signs, of course, start with a dollar sign. And inside double quoted strings, variables get substituted just by sticking the variable name in. Single quoted strings don't do that. And so here we are. This again is, if I put another paragraph here, oops, so that should be a /p. Here is another paragraph, /p. And then I save that. Oops, no. I save that. And then I hit refresh again. You see that I am successfully going, here's some HTML, here's some PHP, here's the HTML, here's the PHP, and here's the HTML again. And again, if I just do a view source, we just see that it's all interleaved together, right? There's no evidence which came from PHP or which came from HTML. So, and then I'll close all. I'll close this. I'll close this. And then I will stop Apache. And then I will stop MySQL. Now, one thing, just to show you real quick, is if I hit this close button, it doesn't really close. It's here. So if you click this XAMPP control panel, it gives you a scary message, but really it's not so scary as long as you remember to come down in your system tray and start it back up. And so we can start and stop these things as often as we like. Okay, so I guess that's it.